Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? I am doing something different today. So usually I have the iPad where I can see the picture on the screen, and I flipped it around because you're supposed to get better quality from the backside. So I can't see a thing up there. I can see something here, and I have my phone on, but it's showing my live hasn't started yet. So I guess I have to wait for that to catch up. But thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, I see Banana saying sorry, but I'm not sure what for. But hey, everyone coming in, and thank you for being here. All right, so let's go ahead, and I should have had it open. Let's go to applications. Notice here, I talked about this, I think last week. I have Embrilliance and I have the Embrilliance demo. If I open the Embrilliance demo, I can just say, let's just work in Stitch Artist 3. Or if I want to see what's specific to enthusiasts, I can just click on enthusiast. But in this demo account, you can actually click on all of them and use all of them. So that's a good way to be able to look into whether you would want to purchase Embrilliance or not, or what levels. I have no affiliation with Embrilliance. I just happen to use it. Okay, but we are looking for Silhouette Studio. So let's double click on that. Oh, you spelled my name wrong. No big deal, Banana. I don't get too uptight about much of anything. But I appreciate you saying it. All right. So I have Silhouette Studio Business Edition. The Business Edition is the only Silhouette Studio program that lets you save what you make as an SVG. And, I like to do rhinestone templates, and I don't cut with a Silhouette machine. So I needed to get the Business Edition to be able to save any design I wanted to make as an SVG. You don't need to use Silhouette. You could use, like I said, Illustrator, Inkscape. You could use anything where you can save your design as an SVG. But let's go ahead and click on Design. And I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to type the word hello. Now I need to click off of it and back on it, and then I can make it larger. I like to add color to it so you can see it. So let's just make it black for now. And then I'm going to do this as if I were doing a shirt or a pillow, those types of things. So it's going to be that size. Hey, Shay Shay. Hey, Betty. Welcome. All right, so now that I have hello typed and selected, let's go ahead and continue to work in the font that I used for this pillow, so that if you want to watch that video and you want to see how do you make this look like yours, this is how. I don't want to mix apples and oranges. I want to keep with what I used. And then we'll do a second one where we do something new. So hello is selected. I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to choose Arial Black. Now, I think that you can do a very similar thing or the same thing using Stitch Artist 3. I was playing around in the demo account, and I was using, I think it was called Inflate, to do this. I will tell you that I felt like I got much cleaner results when I made my design in Silhouette and then took it into Embrilliance. And somebody in a video asked me, can you show how you make something somewhere else and you take that SVG into Embrilliance? So we're going to see that here in just a minute. All right, I want it to be taller. Notice that it says it is 6.171 inches tall, but it is taking into consideration all this blank space. That's just some weird thing about Silhouette. So what you can do is, here's what I do. I just go up to Object, and I ungroup it, and then it hugs in on exactly what you want. Now, it is no longer a font now, so I can't start retyping this word now. You need to make sure your word is correct before you do that. But you can see now that it is 3.184 inches tall. and 8.487 inches wide. I'll make it just a little bit taller. And let's see, I don't think I grouped it yet. Nope. So I'm going to select everything by just touching it. Unlike Inkscape. In Inkscape, to select something, you have to go all the way around it. And Embrilliance is the same way. In Silhouette, you just touch it and it selects it. So I'm going to go to Object and Group. Okay. Now let's see. My first color was orange. I can always change it later, but let's go ahead and change it to orange. Now is where you start getting to where you can have all these outlines. And they're not going to look like outlines yet. If you saw the video, it just looks like your old-fashioned shadow. So I don't know if any of you did scrapbooking years ago, where it was called a shadow, and you'd have a second layer behind your main layer. So we are going to do that in Silhouette. It's called an offset. And there's all different sizes, and I kind of played with this when I was making mine. And you know, you can have your offset smaller, larger. The larger you have your offset, the more spread out the lines on this pillow are going to be. So we'll just play with them. So I'm going to go over here to the offset panel. First of all, you need to have what you want offset selected. Then I'm going to go right here. So it looks like a star with an outline around it. That's the offset feature. Now, some of you that have Silhouette Studio, yours doesn't look like mine because I uploaded or downloaded or whatever. I updated to the newest version. I know Stacy had said she kind of had trouble with the newest version. If you play around with it, hey, Victoria's Creations, I think you'll love it. I love having all these pictures over here versus just the little icons down the side. So I love it. But if you love what you're working in, don't hit myself in the face. If you love the version you're working in, don't worry about updating it, because anything that this one does, the old one does. You might just have to hunt and peck for what I'm doing. Okay, so we are going to click on this offset. And right now, let's click on, you can either click on offset, which means outside of your word, or inset, which now I have an offset and an inset. Let me go ahead and just delete all this minus the word hello. So I selected everything, hold the shift key down, click on hello. Now I can hit delete, and hello is the only thing that stays. All right, so these are grouped. I'm going to do an offset, not an internal offset, which some people would call an inset. I'm going to use an external offset. So we'll click on offset, and you have a couple options here. So notice how my letters are very squared off. Well, some of the letters, not the O or the E, but the top of the H, the bottom of the H, they're very squared off. If you want to follow that line, which is what I did with this pillow, you would click over here where you have the hard corner, the squared off corner. For purposes of this, let's play around with a rounded corner. And right now, for this size of object, my offset is set to 0.2. If you want, you can make it smaller. And as I click the down arrow, if you watch that offset, notice it's getting smaller. It's hugging the letters more. Or you can click the up arrow, hold it down, and it's going to make everything larger. If you actually know the value, and honestly, I don't remember what the value of this was, but I'm going to guess that it was 0.2 because this defaults to the last offset you used. But if you know the value, you could just enter it in that box and then hit the enter or the return key. So I'm going to click on that, and it changed. When I click apply, all these offsets are going to be one unit. It's going to look like they're welded or merged, whatever term you want to use, I believe. So if they're touching, they will be. If they're not touching, they won't be. And you'll see that inside the E. So let's click apply. And I'm going to click off of it and back on it to see what all is selected. Okay, so right now anything that was touching was the offset for this O and this L. So that's what lit up. Okay. I'm going to select everything. And then remember, if you want to deselect your original hello, I'm going to hold the shift key, click on the hello, and then I'm going to go ahead and go up here to object and group. Now everything that's an offset is all together. Now to get it back in the right place, I'm just going to hit the back button. Okay, I'm sorry I haven't been looking at the chat. Hopefully. Oh, Fern, you're trying to work with me. Okay. Hey, Delonda. Hey, Sharon Davenport. Okay, so now let's pick another color. So in my example, this next color for me was yellow. So the offset is still selected. I'm going to go right up here to this little paint palette. Notice it says fill style. You can accidentally get that online. Let me show you. Go to panels, line style, and then you can, like if I click it off, you can't see the line. Let's go ahead and turn that back. What color was it? Red. So I want to make sure that I am on fill color. And then we're going to make this lighter. Let's just go with this light yellow. Let's get a little brighter. Woo! That looks like a lemon. I'm going to drag over here. Okay, we're going to go with that. Notice how this is teeny tiny in here. That could cause an issue. We'll see later when we take this into Embrilliance. Okay, so right now, my offset is selected. Let me drag this and you can see it was the offset that was selected. I feel like I'm going to have issues with that. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go back to hello. I'm going to go back to offset. Click on the external offset, what we all think of as offset. And I'm going to make this smaller. So it's going to hug the letters a little bit more for this first one. Okay, I'm going to hit apply. And then so that all those are together, I'll go up to object and group. Now let's go back and let's turn that yellow. All right. So, is everybody with me so far? We're just going to keep doing the same thing. So my offset is selected. I can tell that because by dragging it moves. I want it back where it was, so I hit the back button. So you're going to offset your offset. So with the offset selected, we're going to go back to offset. And we're going to click on offset. And we'll keep it the same size. If you wanted to have each one be further and further and further away, kind of like a rhinestone, sometimes with rhinestone scatter patterns, you like them to get a little bit further and further away from each other, you could do that. It just kind of depends on what look you're going for. So play around with it. All right, so this is my new offset. I don't know if I grouped it yet. I can click off of it and grab one part of it, and either I grouped it or everything is touching. I think that's what the deal is. Everything is touching, so there was no grouping to do. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go up to object. Yep, there's no grouping to do, so let's just change it another color. And this time, I'm going to go with pink. Still getting retro vibes. Okay, we're going to offset this offset, and then that's the last offset that we're going to do. You can do as many as you want, but that'll be enough for us. Okay, so with the pink offset selected, you're selecting the outermost offset. You're going to click on offset again, click on the external offset, If you don't want to change that, you're just going to leave it alone. You'll say apply. And then I'm going to go back to fill, and we're going back to orange again. All right. So if I drag these apart, they're just layered on top of one another. If you were doing if you were doing heat transfer vinyl, of course you wouldn't want all those layers. You would want to knock out the layer below it. But we're going to take this into Embrilliance, and it's not going to matter for what we're doing. All right. Yeah, Angel B, this is. Okay, so I'm going to name this File, Save As. I'm going to save it to my hard drive. And so that I keep everything together for the video tonight, I'm going to name it AAA Hello. And here's the important part right here. Change this to an SVG. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. And I can leave it alone for now, because now I'm going right back to Embrilliance. We'll minimize this. Get rid of this. Hey, Marlies. And now we want to bring that hello into Embrilliance. To do that is a Stitch Artist 2, Stitch Artist Level 2 feature. To bring in an SVG is a Stitch Artist Level 2 feature. So, hey Faker McFake, we will click right up here on the Create Designs, and this looks familiar. That's where we went before to type in directly here from the system fonts, hello, which we could have done, but then you'd have to have the offset and the offset and the offset, and I don't have Stitch Artist Level 3. And when I played around with the demo of it, I thought I got cleaner results by bringing in the SVG. That was just my experience. Okay, so I clicked on the Create, and notice I could bring in an image. I've never brought in an image. I don't know what file type image has to be. If you do, let me know, and I'm going to watch the comments. Thank you. Okay, so to bring in my SVG, I'm going to click right here to Vector, and it pulls up my desktop, and here I have it right here. I'll click on it, and I'll say Open. Now, it starts to get a little bit more difficult now because for some reason, okay, I'm pretty sure I have even tried to convert them to paths in Silhouette and then bring them over, and I still have this issue, but we may play with that in a minute. But what happens is, well, let's open that. What happens is these aren't really connected anymore the way they were in Silhouette. So I'm going to take this top one, which you can see is the outermost, and for now I'm just going to change it to orange because that's the color I use. Okay, now what I find helps me, let me bring the size down, is I'm going to click over here where it is. I like to get it out of the way. Okay. Now, maybe that was supposed to be with it. I'm not sure. We just kind of have to play around and see. Actually, let's go to the innermost one. So there's my O, but the inside of my O isn't selected. It's the one that's closest right there. So let me hold down Command and the outside to it. Come over here to this L. I think I just undid it. Okay. Click on the O, hold Command down, click on this inside, click on the L, And you can always click over here. So I could click right here. And I think it's going to be these three things. Let me click on the outside of the E, still holding my command. Let's click on that. And then let's click on the H. Now I want to go up and hit Edit and Group. And then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a fill so I kind of see what it looks like. Okay, that looks fine. Remember last week to figure out how to get rid of those centers, we had to do something. We can play around with that in a little bit. Well, let's go ahead and get this back to no stitches, and then let's turn that one to a yellow. And it's going to be bright yellow, but it'll be okay. Okay, let's drag those off. Whoops. So let's click on the yellow. Now, why didn't it group those? Why didn't they all stay together? Let's hit Command. I can see what's yellow over here. So I'm going to hold the Command down, select all my yellow ones. Go back to Edit and Group. At least for now they're grouped, so I'm going to drag them off. Okay, there it is. It's very hard to see. Let me change that to a different color. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Hey, Marta. Hey, Shantae. And Greg and everybody here. All right. So now, let's see. I think it's going to be easiest to go to the outside one because I don't think there's going to be any parts to this outside one. None of those inside. Oh, I bet that one goes with it. That one's going to be too little to do anything with, so I'm going to select it, hit delete. Okay, so I'm going to select the outside parts. Let's change those. Let's just go pink. And let's go up to Edit and Group. Let's drag them off. Okay. And then now we need this down here. Okay, so to select something, you can use this little squiggly thing and go all the way around it like that. Or you can go up here to this select tool. Now, will it select them if I just touch them? No, you have to go all the way around them. And for that reason, it's not going to select the pink stuff because I'm not all the way around the pink stuff. I'm just touching it. So we're going to go like that. Let's see if there's anything to group. And then we're just going to use some other color we haven't used yet on this. Let's just use this green. So we'll say okay. All right, so we have our 4 layers. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all 4 layers. Nope, I'm not going to do it that way. Here's what I was going to do. It won't work. If I select all 4 layers and I hit Utility, Center, and Hoop, it just centers the whole thing. So I have to go one by one. So we'll click that one. We'll say Center and Hoop. Make it larger so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now we'll select the pink one. We'll go up to Utility, say Center and Hoop. We'll do this orange one. And we will center that in the hoop. And then we're going to do the yellow one, and we will center that in the hoop. Okay. So now it's time to start adding stitches to those. Let's see. No sooner as I got to Vector, I wasn't able to move forward until I purchased. Yes, yes. Okay, Robin, you can download the demo version. So to bring in a vector requires Stitch Arts Level 2. You can download the demo version and play with all the levels. You just can't save it as a file to use. But that could help you figure out if you want to purchase it or not. I'd love to purchase Stitch Artist 3, but the upgrade from 2 to 3 was, Marta sent me a link to a place that had it on sale, but it was still, I can't remember if it was 260 or what it was. It's very expensive. So I try to just use workarounds for level 3, such as what I did here. I also have a workaround for enthusiasts doing knockdown stitches. I have 2 workarounds for that. All right, so let's go ahead. What if I select over here? I don't want to do that. Okay, let's select the orange, and let's go ahead and add stitches. So I have it selected. To add stitches, you're going to go right up here to this Create Designs. This is going to be a Stitch Artist level 1. So if right now it's on no stitches. Right here, see it says artwork with no stitches. And you can tell that's what it's on because it's kind of bluish gray. All right, so let's see if we want run stitches. That's what it looks like. If you want satin border, that's what it looks like. Now I can tell we would have to make it smaller unless you want them all run together. Let's just see what it would do. If I select the pink one, I go back up to satin border, see how those are pretty much, oh wait, they're not quite on top of each other. You could do it. You just wouldn't have, I wanted a little bit of white to show. And so if you wanted to, you could. Let's just continue with this and see how it turns out. Okay, let's select the green. We'll go up to satin border, and then we'll select the orange, and we'll say satin border. Now, if I wanted that middle one to be, or this inside one to be all filled in, I can change it to a fill stitch. So let's, first of all, let's get a better color. I don't know that that's better, but it's not better. It'll be okay. All right, so let's change it to a fill stitch, and you're going to see right there what it would look like. Now, if you were here last week, you saw how I got rid of those insides. I can do that later, but for now I don't want to confuse everything. So it is still selected. Let's go back to a satin border. Nope, it wasn't selected. I'm sorry. Let's go back to a satin border. So that is the look that I was going for, except for I wanted some space in there. I have 2 ways that I know of that I can gain more space between these. First of all, the way I did it was I had my offset or my shadow layers larger. So between the outside of each of my shadows was a larger space. So that's one way, and we can play with that in a minute. The other way would be to change the width of your satin border. Notice right now it's at 3.5. Let's see what happens if I take this down to 3. Or 2.5. You're getting a little more space. Let's do the pink one. Let's take it down to 2.5. I'll grab the green one, take it down to 2.5. And then lastly, we'll do the yellow one. Let's take it down to 2.5. Notice this looks a lot like what, Patrice, thank you. I don't have the bell, and my whoop whoop is annoying to some people. So thank you, Patrice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to all the new members. Yes, I hit the 40K recently. Thank you, Patrice. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. You know that. All right. So if I wanted this to be a true applique, where I have my position stitch, my tack down stitch, welcome all the new members, then I would have to change it. So instead of using satin border, I would use right here, digitize and applique. So let's click on that. And I don't like that one for very many things. So I'm going to change it right here to a satin border. It's the same as what the other one was. Now it's at 3 millimeters, so I'm going to take it down to, what did I do, 2.5? Now it would be an applique. So what that means is this the right one? Nope. Nope. Which one was it became an applique? Which one became the applique? Okay, I see. You see this little color difference there? It's that layer. So there's my position stitch. I didn't tell it to do a tack down or a material stitch. And in Embrilliance, mine defaults to not having it. And then there's the satin border stitches. So I would have to go back to that, go to the create, and right here I would click material. That's going to add a material stitch or a tack down stitch. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. We're going to make each one of these layers into an applique stitch. Pink. We're going to go up here to applique. We're going to change it to a satin stitch, and then we're going to make the stitch width 2.5. We'll go to green, change it to an applique, change that border, and change the stitch width. And I have not been hitting material each time, and I should have been. And then lastly, the yellow, make it an applique. Did I already do that one? I already did that one. Okay, so we have our orange. It is now an applique. We did our pink. It's now an applique. I'm going to add my tack down stitch. The green and the yellow. So they look exactly the same. You would only need them to be an applique file if you're going to add fabric. And if you've been watching Angel B, you notice that she had like a double applique. So she had the applique stitch way out there, plus a stitch inside, and she had applique fabric between the two. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so that was one way to get more space, was to make these narrower. Maybe you don't want that. Let's just get rid of all of this. Let's go back and let's make those. Ah, Eve, thank you. Let's make those offsets larger. So let's just open that back up. There it is. And I'm going to get rid of most of these. We're going to try something different. I'm going to try to make each one a path and see if that brings it in better. I'm sorry, Fern. I know it's very confusing. And I can do a regular video on this too that you can just follow along with, rewind, follow along with. That's what Robin said she did with my wifey when she played it. She tried to do it, she backed it up, kept going, backed it up. All right, so let's see. If we go up to object, we already grouped it, so let's say make compound path, and then let's give it a color again. We're going to see if that brings it in better and more easy to work with. Yes, love, green love, that's cute, cute, cute. Even Patrice, thank you. Okay, so we're going to go back to, let's make it some different colors this time. We'll do turquoise, or teal. I don't know if Jess is here, but she loves teal. We're going to offset it. Now remember, we're going to go to this offset, and apparently I did 0.155. Let's make it larger. Let's go to 0.25. I'll say apply. And there's a little piece right there. So I'm going to go up here to Object. And it says it's already a path. Let me look at this. Okay. So this one, I can't group it. I can't do anything. It looks like it's already a path because Make Compound Path's gone. Let's just hit Convert to Path just in case. And let's change that to, let's do kind of a fun green. We're going to stay on that offset because we're going to offset the offset. So we'll click on offset. Offset, I'm going to leave it large. I'll say apply. Let's say convert to path, just in case that does anything. And we'll change it to that color. And then we're going to do one more, and then we're going to take those into silhouette. And you're going to see how there's a little more space between them. And we're also going to see if it came in right. Okay, I see that pink, pink, pink. So we'll do pink for the next one. Offset. We're going over to the left offset. We're going to hit apply. I don't know if converting it to path up there does anything because it's still showing up, so I don't think it really does anything. But we are going to now make this pink. Now that looks retro, doesn't it? Pink, pink, pink. All right. Now, here's one thing I thought about today. I think this would make it easier once you get into Embrilliance, is if these are spread out. So I don't have to figure out what goes with what. So we're going to spread them out and see if this helps. Hopefully they all go in because this is off the canvas. We're going to see. We're just experimenting now. So we're going to save as, and we're going to call this AAA Hello 2, and we're going to make it an SVG. We'll say okay. Oh no, my phone's getting low battery mode. Oh, let me plug it in. I think I told you guys recently that my husband put this plug-in strip across the front there, and I totally forgot about it. So I was like plugging in my sewing machine, unplugging it, plug in my iron, unplug it, plug the sewing machine back in. It was nuts. All right, so thank you, Victoria's Creations. So Fern, here's your question. Or anyone, how do I get that SVG in here? What's the first thing that I need to click on to get that SVG up here? Oh, Marta, thank you. Ring a ring a ring. No whoop whoop. Thank you, Marta. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Rachel. Oh, you're fine. You know this program. All right, so what am I going to click on to be able to bring in my SVG? File, import. Ooh, that's a different way. Hey, look at you teaching me some. File. Okay. So I don't see it that way. Open new file? Nope. I'm not going to do that. Well, hello, Dee Dee from Kingwood, Texas. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Create. Yes. Jennifer, thank you. So to bring in an SVG, because I was looking for that the other day. Was it Fern that said that? Oh, going up here, like open, huh? And then I was like, oh yeah, you have to go up to this create icon. So we're going to click on that. And magically, if you have Stitch Artist 2, and if you don't download that demo file, we're going to click on the word vector, and then we named it AAA Hello 2. I put A's so it'd be close to the top so you guys couldn't see my horrible desktop. Now, remember, this is how we took it in the first time, and we kind of had to hunt and peck for what went together. I'm hoping, I haven't tried it, I'm hoping by bringing them in this way that it fixes that issue. So let's say open. And to see all of it, you can drag this thing down. This is going to be so much easier. So much easier. Okay. So I'm going to go right up here to the select tool, because I think if I try to select now, yep, I get that stupid thing. So I'm going to go up to this select tool, and I'm going to circle all the way around this one. Now, remember I wanted to see if they came in as one. Even though I converted it to a path or made it a compound path, they still come in where these are separate pieces. So you do have to deal with that. Okay, so we're going to select this whole thing. First thing I'm going to do is go up to Edit and Group. And then we're going to change this one. It was the inside color, which I don't remember what it was. So let's just pick, let's make Shay Shay happy from the get-go and pick pink. That's kind of a purpley pink, isn't it? We'll give her a pink carnation. So I'll say okay. Now this one has no inside part, so I can just touch it. And let's change this. Let's go with this kind of orange color. If I click off of it, you see the orange. Okay, to move your screen, you hold the shift key down. Notice that became a hand. Keep the shift key held down and drag this down. And then we're going to change this one, just in case Jess is here. Let's change it from red. So you click on red, and let's change that to a teal. That says teal, so let's go with that. And then the last one, which really would be the only complex one here. Whoops, hold the shift key down, slide it over. I don't want that in there. That's going to cause too much. That's just, that doesn't add anything. So let's delete it. Let's click on this one down here. Let's delete it. I'll go ahead and keep this one for now. So I'm going to select all of that. Go up to Edit, Group. What color have we not used that we should be using? Let's do another. Let's see if we find that another bright yellow. It's going to be bright. Let's go lemonade. Okay. No, we're not doing lemonade because it's hard for you to see. Let's go that one with butterscotch. Yum. Except I don't like butterscotch. Okay, so we're going to say okay. Now, I want them all lined up, and I want them lined up perfectly. So I'm going to select each one. This one is already selected, and instead of dragging it where I want it, with it selected, I'm going to go to Utility and say Center and Hoop. Now let's grab this one. Go to Utility, Center and Hoop. Same thing here. Now I'm wondering if I spaced those offsets out enough for this to have more white space. We'll see. Center and Hoop. Okay. If you want to get your screen where you can see everything in the hoop, but you don't want to waste space, purple. I'm so sorry I'm biased. So sorry. Let's change orange to purple. We don't want the purple fans to be hurt. Okay, I saw some purples go by there. There you go. That's kind of a pinky purple. You're not going to like that. Let's go with this one. It says magenta. It looks purple to me. Okay. Is that good? All right. So what I was saying was to get this to where you see the whole hoop, but you're not wasting a ton of space, you can click on this little navigation thingy and then click on the H and watch what happens. Now I'm back to the hoop taking up my screen. All right, so last time, remember we changed these widths to 2.5. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get away with 3.5 and still have a little bit of white space. Well, first let's change them 2.5 and see how much white space there is. So I have this purple one selected. Thanks, Sharon Davenport. She says, more thumbs up, please. I have the purple one selected, and I want to change it into an applique just in case I would want to put fabric behind it. When I'm doing things where I'm using satin borders, so, oh, I don't have my wifey shirt in here. Wait. I think I do. I think I do. Because I washed it to see how it was going to wear. So, with this shirt, let's see, can you see that hopefully? I gotta stand here for a minute. Okay, with this shirt, even though I didn't use fabric, I still made it as an applique file. So I could just skip on my embroidery machine the position stitch and the tack down stitch. Or maybe it's called placement and material stitch. I skipped those because even though I just wanted the outline, somebody else might want fabric in there. Hey, Linda. I'm wanting to show a shirt over there, but I don't know if I should. Okay, so we have the purple one selected. We're going to change that into an applique stitch. So I have to go back up here to the Create tool. This is a Stitch Artist Level 1. Back up there, and we're going to click on Applique. Notice now it's doing position and material stitch. Before it just did the one. Oh, it's using my old settings. 2.5. Oh, this is going to be easy. So let's just click on all of them and make all of them. It even used the last border I used. I didn't know it did all that. See how much more room there is in this? Okay, applique. Embrilliance is smart. And applique. Okay, so this is the same width. Notice 2.5 millimeters. This satin border is the same width as in our last example, and look how much more blank space there is in there. And for this type of design, I like that blank space. I think it looks cute. Now, I'm not into 2.5-inch satin borders on something that's large, like a pillow or a shirt. So now, hi, Addie. Remember by making, let's see if Patrice commented on that. Remember, what are we remembering? Oh my gosh. Okay, so before we used 2.5 millimeters and we didn't have hardly any white space, let's go back and make this larger. So we're going to change it. Let's go up to 3.5 and see what we get. That's sad when I can't remember what I'm telling you to remember. Oh, remember the way we gained the space was by, let me hold the command down and add this to it. We added the space by making our offsets larger. And this one, did it select everything? I probably forgot to group the yellow one. That's why I did that, I'll bet. Okay, so let's take this to 3.5. I like large satin borders or large satin stitches. So, whereas before, if we would have used 3.5, you would have no white space in there. So let's blow this up a little bit. And you can see there's plenty of white space. So I think that looks good. Now, this guy right here, let's see, can I simply select it? Yep, I would get rid of it because it just looked like a blob. My precious pieces, enjoy your Bible study. Evelyn, good. She says she's actually paying attention. Good. All right, so that is how I made my pillow design. Last thing we're going to do is we are going to do that paw print super quickly. Let's get rid of this stuff. Let's see. In Silhouette Studio, to bring in something in SVG, you do go to File and Merge. And then we're going to bring in this paw print. I have not done this type of thing with a non-word, so we're going to see how this turns out. Okay, that's way too big. Let's make it smaller. And a little smaller. And let's go over to the offset. Let's just stay with that. We'll apply it. We'll change it. That color. We'll go back over to offset. Stay with the same size. Apply. And then one more. And Shantae, I would love for you to teach me how to do those lines of inclination sometime. I watched one of your videos, but I didn't quite get it yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. Let's see how large it is. That's good. So we're going to save this as an SVG. And paw print 2 in case I named the original in paw print. All right, let's go back to Embrilliance and let's go ahead and fill the screen. To bring in that SVG, we're going to go right here to create, vector, and then there it is. We'll say open. And the first thing I notice is these little bitty guys right there. I want to get rid of them. Now let's see, what's this one? Let's kind of move these and see what it's going to look like. Okay, so I think I know what I'm doing with this. Let's go undo. Okay. All right. So we are going to take this outermost and we're going to change it into an applique. Then I think this will be the next. No. There we go. Let's change that to an applique. And let's just go with a different color. Let's select this one and let's change it to another color. Oh, I didn't tell it to be an applique. There we go. And then the last thing, I'm probably going to have to pick each of these individually. So I'll hold the command button down, come select this one, or I can select them over here. Let's go ahead and group those together. And where'd those purples go? There we go. There we go. And make it an applique. Okay, so it does also work with an image. It doesn't just have to be a word. I would almost say, of course, this would be a huge, huge fill stitch, but you know, you could always have that be filled in. So it works on words, it works on simple pictures. I probably wouldn't use it much on anything else. Okay. So hopefully me going off into the place with those nodes doesn't detract too much from what we did. I think next week we'll probably do some type of little sewing project. I've been looking at this little mini backpack that I think is really cute. We could always stitch out something like this as a mug rug. You have a free paw print under the image tab. Oh, okay. So probably what she's talking about is image. File. I don't know where she's talking about, but I have gone into their library. That's probably what she's talking about, is their library. And there's things there like envelopes and just all kinds of pictures of things. So, okay, you vote sewing. Okay, let's do sewing next week. And I will try to find something. I've watched some tutorials on these little backpacks. They look a little complex. We're going to see if we can't break it down so that it's not as complex as what it looks like. And there's a lot of people that have sewing videos that they just play music and they don't tell you anything. So I'm trying to watch those and learn from that. All right. So hopefully, if you are into Embrilliance, this helped a little bit. So I thought by turning my camera around, I was supposed to have a better quality. This still looks like terrible quality. But hopefully you enjoyed just going into Embrilliance and seeing how I did this. You'll have to get ready for that one. The mini, yes, they are super cute, Eve. So I'll find something and I'll try to post by like Tuesday what fabric you need, how large a fabric you need, if you need any interfacing, what the pattern is, things like that. But I think that sounds fun. Oh, actually, I'm probably going to be out of town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I can probably still get it done by Tuesday. Thanks, Greg. And this was what I call an envelope pillow. It's kind of like how I do some of my mug rugs. Yeah, so the back of this mug rug is an envelope style. There's no extra sewing after you're done. Same thing with the pillow. It doesn't look very good. Get down there. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Tomorrow evening, we're going to be doing serging. Maybe. We should be doing serging on Patrice's channel. So if you're interested in that, just make sure that you have your notifications on, or you just start watching around 6:30 Central Time for Patrice to come on. And we may be doing serging. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, Dee. You're going to pull the machine out. Good, Keisha. That sounds great. You're welcome. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you. Hopefully I'll see you in the chat tomorrow night. All right. Bye-bye.